Hi, I'm Kamila Konik. I am a very independent woman slash teenage girl who likes to express herself and do things her own way. So I created my own small business for my senior project. Since I can remember, I've always liked to create things of my own, that being clothes, bags, jewelry, um, and other things. When I was creating my jewelry, the most important thing for me was being able to create something that really expressed who I am and that was fun for me and for other people to enjoy. So I made polymer chunky clay rings. Um, I chose 15 different designs and created my own collection. They are all made, baked, and packaged by me. Um, so The first step in creating my jewelry and the most important thing was creating my mood board and my color palette. So I created them at the same time and used each other as inspiration. So I used websites like Pinterest to create my mood board, and then I made my color palette in Canva. After I had the first two things, I started creating the product, which is the rings. My first attempt was air dry clay. Um, at the beginning, everything seemed good. It was easy to work with, easy to manipulate, and then really fast I realized that it was very flexible. It broke very easily. It got dirty, so it wasn't the best material to use for my rings. Um, and then I worked on for a month with this, which was a bad idea. Then I changed my materials to make my own clay. I made it using equal parts cornstarch and glue. It was harder to work with when wet. It also took longer to dry. To make them round, I used markers that were about the size of my fingers. Um, and then after they were dry, I would put a couple of coats of clear nail polish to make them shiny like that. Um, but then again, I realized this was not going to work. The cornstarch and the glue were both very expensive. And after a little bit, the clay I would make would dry up and then it wasn't manageable anymore. So after a lot of research, I realized that polymer clay was the best material to use. Even though it was very expensive, the package I bought lasted for a very long time. And after baking, it was really hard and hard to break. So I got 2 packets of polymer clay and I started creating the rings. At first, the rings did not come out as I planned them to come out. It was really hard to learn how to make the small designs on the rings. And then I ran into other obstacles, which were the following. One, in the boxes I bought, it tells you 5 different ways to bake them. It tells you the time, but it doesn't tell you the difference or why it's different to bake them like that. So that was a big thing. Then 2, I've never worked with any material like this. And then 3, it was my mom's kitchen and I did not want to ruin her oven. So I definitely ignored number 3 and I started experimenting with the baking. The first batch of rings I made got completely burnt. There was nothing left. The second batch is exploded in the microwave, broke the microwave. Um, and after my 16th attempt in the oven, I realized that the rings needed to be in the oven for longer and to a lower temperature, and that worked. And then everything seemed good until I took them out of the oven, let them cool, and they shattered. I gathered that it was because of the quick change of temperature, so what I did is I wrapped them in a towel, and that worked. um, Before going to the next step, I had my cousin try every single one of the rings for a few days so we can try them out and see if there was any problem I should fix. Um, most importantly, to see how people reacted to them. Funny enough, she wore one of the rings to one of her friends' wedding, and 4 of her friends asked me to make rings for them, which was really good news because it meant people liked them. After this, my mentor and I decided they were good enough so we can start selling them. So I created the page for them. After looking into different websites, we decided that Instagram was the best one to use because it's very popular and it's fairly easy to use. Before launching the Instagram page, I had to come up with a logo, a name, and a business plan. I ended up choosing this name and the logo, which is Love Clay. I thought of this because the rings are made with a lot of love, so what better to represent this than with a love letter? Then I had my business plan. The business plan is made by an executive summary, my business description, the product, marketing summary, the pricing strategy, and the promotional strategy. So Love Clay is referring to the name of the company. It's a sole proprietorship, in Boulder. I worked for 6 months creating a fun and good quality product. I tried different methods and processes until I got the best out of both and created my final product. The company's product is the rings. I chose 15 different designs and created my line. Each ring cost about $5. My major target was teens, but it was open to anyone who had style. I ended up selling 120 rings for $5 each. I had 480 hours to sell them. The clay that the rings were made out of was $30, and then the little bags I put them in was $15, which means I used $45 on the making of the rings, and then I made $555 out of profit. Because I only needed to buy 2 packets of clay and I only bought one time the bags, I made the most out of the money I had. And then I used Instagram as my main advertising and marketing website. So this is a final product. I learned a lot on how hard it is to actually make a small business and how hard it is to actually create a small business. I think one of the harder parts was the interaction with people because it's very different to interact with people through social media than in person. Doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it, but it's very different. I think the hardest part for me was having to put something that I created into the world. Because when you put a lot of effort into creating art, the only thing you want is for people to enjoy it as much as you do. I also learned that I have a lot of patience for myself and resilience because making about 20 different attempts on making rings is not the easiest thing. But yeah. And then I just wanted to say thank you to Joan for guiding us through this process and for your patience. Thank you to my mentor, Natalia, for all the help and support. She really, really helped me through this process. And I had no idea how to do anything, and she explained everything to me. I want to thank all the teachers for the extra time in their classes to work on our projects. And then the biggest thank you to my mom for letting me destroy her kitchen for 3 months. I love you and I'm sorry. And to all my friends, because I think we helped each other through this process. And yeah. Any questions? Yes.
I assume you designed your own and added your own personality to it. So what drove you to make so many with eyeballs?
I think eyes are a big part of a person. It makes a person. So I don't know, there's something really interesting about eyes, and I really like eyes. So I think when you put something with eyes on, it makes you more interesting. Anyone else? Yes.
Did you ever think about expanding your line to include other matching accessories?
I did. Actually, my aunt asked for it a lot of times. It's a very time-consuming thing, and because I am a senior right now and I'm trying to get into college and social life, I had dance before and stuff. I did not have the time to properly make a full line, but if I ever have the chance in the future, I will probably look into it. Yes.
Did you have any negative customer engagements, like trolls?
I mostly sold to people I knew and knew me. I got most of the people that I sold to by people that knew me. Um, I did get some of the rings that when I send them to someone, they broke, which was not the funnest part of it. Yeah, I did ship it. Someone helped me ship them, so they broke. So that was kind of sad. But she wasn't negative about it. Yep. Yes.
How did you do the sizing?
So there is like a world sizing for the rings. So I would ask people for their ring size, and I would measure them and make them their size, and hope it would fit them. Thank you.